Sai Ram. Dr. Sailesh Srivastava, or Sailesh Sir as I call him, is my physics teacher at the Sri Sathya Sai Higher Secondary School in Prashantinilayam, Puttaparthi. But then, more than a mere physics teacher, he has been a teacher for me for the subject called life. Among the many things that I have learned from him, the most important ones are faith, loyalty and devotion to one's Guru and one's God. Well, we share a common God, me and Sailesh Sir, which is our dear Swami Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. On the 26th of September 2003, Sailesh Sir got information that his Guruji was arriving by Karnataka Express at the Prashantinilayam railway station. Now, who is this Guruji? This Guruji is His Holiness Swami Krishnadas from Mathura, Vrindavan. Now, this Guruji has been responsible for Sailesh Sir coming to Swami from giving up a life of luxury that he was born into, a very aristocratic life. He gave up all of that for a simple, humble life dedicated in the quest of divinity, in the quest of infinity, in the quest of the Atman, that is our Bhagawan. And it is Swami Krishnadas, Guruji as I will refer to him during this video, who is responsible for that. In fact, the experiences between Swami, Guruji and Sailesh Sir are fantastic, and they are there in two parts, books written by Sailesh Sir himself, Swami, Guruji and I. This is part 1. I also have with me part 2. Definitely do read them. They are available at the bookstore in Prashantinilayam. Now, on this particular day, Sailesh Sir was wondering how he will go to the railway station to pick up his Guruji, because a bandh, a total bandh, meaning a closure, a curfew, a strike was in progress because of some events that had happened at Anantapur. And there was no way that you could take your vehicle outside. In fact, right in front of his own eyes, Sailesh Sir had seen how an auto had been stopped, an auto rickshaw. It had been damaged and broken, and the driver was threatened and told to go back. No vehicles were being allowed on the road. But then his Guruji has told that he should come. So exactly at the appointed hour, he started his car and asked for the hostel gates to be opened, and he thought, let us see what happens. As he drove out of the hostel gate, he saw another car that came and overtook and went ahead of him. There was a very important person in this car who was being rushed with a medical emergency to the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Sciences, the super specialty hospital at Puttaparthi. And for this car, all police permissions and other things had been taken, and therefore nobody stopped this car. And because his car was behind this, everyone thought that he is also part of the same convoy. So the two cars sped all the way till the super specialty hospital, after which the car turned into the hospital. But Sailesh Sir had to proceed ahead another 2-3 kilometers to the railway station. That is when the different activist groups that had gathered realized that, hey, this is not a car that belongs to this convoy. But before they could attack or stop the car, he had already sped and he had gone beyond their reach, and that is how he escaped and reached the railway station. Now his Guruji arrived, and after saluting him, he told him of the situation, and he said, Guruji, I wonder how we will get back now, because they will all be waiting there. Guruji just smiles, sits in the seat and says, Arey, he has got 100 ways to take us. He brought you safely here, he will take us also. Come, let us go. Of course, by he was referring to the Lord, to his Krishna. He never actively said that he is a devotee of Sai. He has been instrumental in getting so many people to Swami, and yet when asked, he says, no, I am not a Sai devotee. He possibly has realized the truth that it is Swami who must say that somebody is a devotee, not we ourselves proclaiming it. What happened next is something fantastic. As Guruji and Sailesh Sir sat in the car and Sailesh Sir put the key into the ignition to start it, there was almost like a cloud burst over that entire region. It began to rain so heavily, cats and dogs, possibly hippopotamuses, rhinoceroses and elephants as well, because that was the kind of downpour that started. Sailesh Sir had to drive very carefully to ensure that he is able to see the road and proceed. But then because of this rain, all these activist groups that were stopping vehicles and attacking vehicles, they all had run to take cover. And so Sailesh Sir drove all the 10 kilometers from the railway station to Puttaparthi, went to the Samadhi road where his Guruji was staying in a room, dropped his Guruji there, returned back to the hostel, and as he turned off the car and pulled the key out of the ignition, as if that ignition was connected to the skies, the rain also stopped instantly. And Sailesh Sir got out, understanding what a Mahima of the Lord he had witnessed. Many have been the miracles and experiences that Sailesh Sir has recorded with Guruji. Sometime in 2004, May 2004, Guruji told Sailesh Sir that his mother had to face severe consequences of her karma which could even take away her life. But if he is prepared to do something, that can be mitigated. And Sailesh Sir agreed to do whatever needs to be done. And his Guruji told him, respect her like a son should respect the mother, but don't ever speak a word with her till you are further instructed. Imagine this instruction, imagine this test, dear brothers and sisters, how tough it is. With one's own mother who is so dear and near, you are not allowed to speak. Credit to Sailesh Sir that he followed it. He went to his mother, prostrated at her feet, gave her a piece of paper which said, henceforth I shall not be talking with you, and just walked away. He did all his duties as a son and everything that Swami will be pleased with. But he did not speak to her, and this was a very difficult phase of his life. Everyone observed, everyone knew something was wrong, and everybody even mentally blamed, criticized Sailesh Sir as well as Guruji. But then in that same year, in the month of June, his mother was involved in a severe car accident. Though the car had taken multiple somersaults and crashed in a ditch, the ambassador car had been badly damaged. Not a scratch on Sailesh Sir's mother. Sometime later, Sailesh Sir was given the go-ahead to reinitiate talking to his mother, and that is when this whole story became evident and clear. But he had the courage to follow his Guru. While narrating these two experiences and stories, I am laying the foundation to an important message that I learnt while reading these two books, Swami, Guruji and I. Now this Sailesh Sir, who has been so dedicated in his loyalty towards his Guruji for having got him to God. Swami says, mother shows the father, father shows the Guru, Guru shows God. Despite this, for some reasons which are all mentioned in the book, you read it yourselves or wait till I make another video on this. Sailesh Sir stopped going to and talking to his Guruji, and he decided that he will be only with Swami and he doesn't need Guruji anymore. In his discourse on the 6th of May 2002, Ishwaramma Day, Swami says that one of the greatest sins that man does is the sin of ingratitude. Swami says one should never be ungrateful towards anybody who has helped us in any way. Showing us the path to God, taking us towards God, is the greatest favor anybody can do to us. In fact, Swami says anybody who directs you towards the path of God is your true friend, irrespective of what else he or she is doing. Just for this one sake, you have to be extremely grateful to him or her. And Swami goes on to say, if you are ungrateful, you will suffer with problems of the eye. And Swami quotes a mantra to Lord Surya, that is the sun god. He says, Om Kritagnajnaya Namaha. It means the sun god takes away the power of the eyes of those who are ungrateful. And Swami says, people may think these are mere stories and laugh at it, but this is the truth. Remember, if you are ungrateful, you will suffer from issues of the eye, worst being blindness itself. In the October of 2008, Sailesh Sir noticed that there were something like pimples or boils over his eyebrows, over his eyes, and he first thought there must be some skin problem and they will go off on their own. But over a couple of days, they developed into rashes. It became very painful and he was wondering what was happening. When he showed it to a doctor casually, because there are so many doctors at that point of time in Prasanthi, the doctor said that this is not something to be ignored, it is herpes zoster, he said. Herpes zoster is a deadly viral infection, and when that comes, so many things can happen. Ultimately, the worst thing is it can lead to blindness of the eye and terrible scarring as well. Even if blindness doesn't come, there are so many terrible things that can happen if it is left untreated within the first 3 days of the initial symptoms coming. And by now more than 3 days had passed. The doctor said that Sailesh Sir should immediately begin acyclovir, an antiviral, along with so many other things, and show himself to a specialist. Now when this happened, for some strange reason, Sailesh Sir remembered what Swami had said about issues with the eye coming because of ingratitude, and that is when he began to feel that it's been more than a couple of years, nearly 3 years since he has left Guruji, and this has been the great sin of ingratitude towards Guruji, because of which he must repent and correct. And so instead of going to a doctor, he sat in his room and repented, cried and prayed and prayed and prayed intensely. There were many people, teachers and senior students, who were going to his room, opening the door and requesting him to go to a doctor. In order to avoid that, he locked himself in the room and did this for hours on the end. Finally, when he opened the door, there was a former student of his who introduced himself and said, "Sir, I am Jyoti Das." "Oh yes, Jyoti Das, I remember, come in." Jyoti means light, very significant as a coincidence. So he tells that I am an eye doctor now, specializing in this. "And what happened to your eye?" Now Sailesh Sir is convinced that this is Swami's play. So he says that it looks like herpes zoster. That is what some doctor told me. "It is, let me examine it." Then and there, this doctor examines the eye and he says, it is herpes zoster, acyclovir has to be taken. But then, miraculously, amazingly, interestingly, cornea is intact, not much damage is there, and though it has been several days, possibly nearly a week or so, still things may improve. And so Sailesh Sir decided to start taking the medicines. It is not like once a day or twice a day. Every few hours he had to take this medication, which means waking up even in the middle of the night. And there were 2 students who lovingly volunteered to do this, and they would wake him up and they would administer the medicines, and this is how he kept taking. And the next day itself, he understood the worst part of this herpes zoster is that he can't go for darshan. He has to avoid dust from falling in the eyes. He can't even go outside anywhere. He has to just remain confined in his room. And that is when it hurt him so much. He said, "Swami, I won't be able to have your darshan also. I might lose my eyesight, after which I'll never have darshan. But even now, when I'm in the process of getting treated, I still can't come for darshan." And as his heart cried out for Swami, yearned for Swami, in the morning, as all the students have gone to school, other than these 2 students who have stayed back to help him and administer medicines, they hear a siren which indicates that Swami is coming. Swami was coming to the Hillview Stadium to supervise the different arrangements that were being made for the Sahasra Purna Chandra Darshana Yagna that would take place a few days later. That was a grand event, and Swami came in the Suvarna Aditya Ratham, the golden chariot. It was a magnificent event, and I will control myself from digressing and come back to the story. Long story short, Sailesh Sir, despite all the advice that he should not expose his eyes to the dust or do anything like that, be confined within, he just walked to the road and hoped to catch a darshan of Swami. And as Swami's car comes, there's nobody but Sailesh Sir and the 2 students on the road. Swami slows down the car, the glass comes down, Swami looks at him and beams such a loving smile. Seeing that, Sailesh Sir's heart erupts in joy, and he in his heart conveys to Swami that he has realized his mistake. He will never show ingratitude, especially to the Guru. And Swami also, through that smile and through the twinkle in the eye, acknowledges this repentance, and Swami seems to have forgiven him. Because even as he returns to the hostel, dear brothers and sisters, the pain is completely gone. Can you believe it? One moment and the pain is completely gone. Needless to say, in a few days itself, Sailesh Sir recovered. He recovered so much so that he was allowed to go and have a quick glimpse of Swami for darshan and then come back. And so with joy in his heart, knowing that he has been cured, knowing that his ingratitude has been suffered for and it has been forgiven, he went to the mandir. And here is the final icing on the cake. As he enters the mandir, a program that is going on is nearing conclusion, and over there, the hero of the drama is exclaiming in joy, "Oh Lord, you have given me back my eyesight. I am grateful to you. You have given me back my eyesight." And Sailesh Sir knew that this was not a coincidence. This was a completion of his experience. Needless to say, he returned to his Guru. He sought forgiveness. Of course, Guruji, when he met him, he was as if nothing has happened at all. As if those many years of separation never existed at all. He began to speak to Sailesh Sir as if he had spoken to him lovingly the previous day, and it continued. All of that is there, as I said, in the book, and I will also possibly do some videos in the future on that. But right now, two messages become very clear to me, dear brothers and sisters. The first one is, we should never be ungrateful. Always express our gratitude, especially to those who have been responsible in taking us towards Swami, in filling our hearts with love for Swami, in filling our days and time with Swami. It might be a friend, it might be a parent, it might be a well-wisher, it might even be an enemy. But we have to express our gratitude to all these beings, especially because they have given us the greatest blessing of our lives, which is awareness of Swami. That is the first thing. And the second important lesson I learned is that for Sailesh Sir, if we take Acharya Devo Bhava, meaning Guruji becomes equal to God. Not all of us are blessed to have this kind of a Guru who guides us to God. But all of us have been blessed that the Supreme Lord has come down for us and has taken on the role of a Guru. Deva Acharyo Bhava. That is what has happened to us. God has become our Guru. He is the Satguru, He is the Jagat Guru, He is the Gurunam Guru. How grateful we should be to Him. May we never ever commit the huge sin of being disloyal to the Sathya Sai name and form, of being ungrateful to the Sathya Sai name and form. Having accepted Him as our guide and Guru, let us be loyal to His lotus feet, and may we achieve Him. He is the journey, He is the goal. May we attain those lotus feet forever and ever. Dear Swami, dear Satguru, dear Jagat Guru, may the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.